Huh? Oh, that's me, aka the Green Goblin. This is Grimble, my dwarven tank companion, and we are hopping back into Ashes of Creation. This is episode 2. We want to see if we can make any progress and learn any more about the game. Leave me a like if you can, subscribe for indie MMORPG content, and we have a Discord server over 1,000 on there, indie MMORPG themed. This video covers several days of us playing. We're continuing our adventure where Scabby and I leveled up a bit, did some questing, and now we are venturing into our first nexus point. These are basically the grind spots of the world. They are caves, they have a bunch of mobs, and we either group up with other adventurers or we have to push our way into their territory. In our first expedition of the day, we were battling out with some giant crabs and some giant sea otters. Kind of depressing fighting these, honestly. We were there for a little while, met some other adventurers. We have fought what appears to be the main boss of this area. This particular creature just drops a crafting material. Honestly, we never found any useful gear. I'm not sure if it's a skill issue or if it's just how the game is set up. We ground there for quite a while longer until we reached level 7, whereupon we took our leave and ventured to the next point of interest, which was a nexus point. We made our way down the pretty massive gaping hole, which led us further into the temple. We ran into more of these giant crabs there. We trained there for a little bit, but it ended up being very similar to our first training area. So we took our leave, and a bit down the street we wandered our way into the nearest player-ran settlement. This was a developing settlement. My companion said that only days before this area was just a group of tents, but clearly they were beginning to prosper. They had their buildings erected, and we checked out the local job board to make some extra coin. We also tried to figure out how the system worked. Honestly, the locals didn't explain it very well. I went through all the dialogue options that I could find, and there were a lot of menus to navigate through. I'm thinking most likely you need to become a citizen of a town if you want to contribute to the building projects, but I just couldn't figure it out. The only thing that the locals taught us was that you can build a crate out of wood. I don't know where to deliver these crates or what to fill them with. It doesn't explain that. Honestly, a lot of stuff isn't explained in this game, and that's one of my issues with it. That's just kind of an alpha issue. We just gotta wait for the game to develop further. Give it another 10 years, I guess. This was the caravan assistant. I thought he would teach me where to take crates and stuff. He did tell me that I can make a crate and bring it to him. I guess I probably should have done that in hindsight. That's my bad. Hopefully this guy would have taught us what to do with crates, but half his dialogue was broken, so I don't think he actually works. But with that, we hit the local inn and got some rest for the next day. Early in the morning, we set off on our hunting contracts. Our goal for the day was to explore the land and to find some loot, because my character feels basically the same as when I first started. We do get loot from just the achievement system, but I just don't feel like I've found any loot yet, and we've put in several hours into this game. Our first foe on our contracts was this ooze. These are elite. It wasn't too much of a challenge since we were on par with them, and we finally eliminated one. And hang on, what the heck? Pause. Only foes closer to your experience level will count for this quest. I'm level 7, the mobs are level 8, the quest is level 8. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this one. Maybe you have to be the exact level of the quest? So realizing we weren't going to get paid for our efforts, we decided to scrap our idea of doing these hunting jobs and instead head south, slaying some raiders along the way. We were nearly vanquished when a cleric emerged, thankfully, replenishing our dwarf's health. After collecting our loot, we bid him farewell, only to meet him again in the near future. We stumbled upon a populated cave full of rest-wheeled dwarves, and after a lot of struggles, we just couldn't seem to duo in this cave. We decided it'd be best to exit the cave and collect more for our party. We did manage to find some others, and our healer friend ended up rejoining us. So we ventured deep into the cave, making quick work of the entrance of the dungeon, only to meet our match as we were swarmed by golems. As death stared me in the face, I told our men to retreat, but I was too late as our healer had already fallen. One by one they fell as I ran for the entrance. No, I didn't make it. As usual, we found nothing of use in these caves, no equipable loot. It took me literally 16 minutes, I could see in my recording, to get back to the cave from town due to them not having the option to just immediately respawn at the entrance of a dungeon. There is a respawn point halfway between the entrance and the town that I respawned in, however. After finally making it back, we invited more to our group and headed back in. We managed to survive in the cave for 20 minutes straight, fighting everything that was in there. They respawned pretty quickly, which is a nice change from some retro MMOs, but we ended up being bested again when we got super deep into the cave. After such a brutal day chopping up our tanks, cave cousins, we ended up venturing further south along the river. We got tired of being in the same environment for so long. We ended up stumbling upon a man with a rowboat who offered to give us safe passage back to town. There wasn't much space, but we were grateful. A few moments passed, and as we hit the fork in the river, we thanked the stranger and made our exit. We fought our way down the shore for a while, cutting down raiders and some wildlife. As we made our way further up the mountain, we were met with mountain lions, some goatmen, and some golems. As we hid from them, we found ourselves entering a lawless zone, so I cloaked myself. It was a massive area, a good training spot for large groups. We ran into one adventurer making his way along through the center of the zone. I was cloaked the entire time. Being the intellectual that I am, I decided to engage in combat with this stranger, but unfortunately, my eyes crossed. I don't know. I ended up focusing on the rowboat halfway through the fight after attacking him a couple of times. Unfortunately, the stranger didn't take kindly to my attack, and as my arrows bounced off his rowboat, again, I don't know why. I tried to make my escape in the shadows, but it proved to be a fruitless endeavor. Also, real talk, I couldn't target this guy, so what the crap was that about? He ended me right then and there, and then he ended up cutting down my dwarf companion. Heyo, big news. We upgraded the computer. We can run Ashes now really well. Videos from now on in general will be a lot higher quality. Thank you to all our viewers. Thanks for our subs who have stuck with us this year. All you guys who comment, who like. Special thanks to our patrons, YouTube members, Twitch subs, and the guys who hang out on the streams. Definitely helped out big time. The entire year's worth of video ads, as well as all the support, paid for about half of it. So thanks a lot. We reconvened again another day. The town was still developing. I stumbled upon their marketplace. I'm pretty sure this wasn't in the last time we were in the city. Very cool. People could set up their shops. We could buy gear if we want. Didn't see anything I could use, but definitely a useful function for the town. I met up with the town crier, asked if there's any way we can contribute, and he said we weren't strong enough, basically. Come back when we were higher level. So today our goal was to hit level 10. We decided we are going to head south of the city for a change. After quite a while of trekking around, we met up with someone from town and decided we were going to purge the outskirts of the city from these bandits. They were not elite, so they didn't give amazing experience, but we ground there for just a little while. In the end, we decided it was best to part ways and to go and find some elite mobs to farm, because everyone's saying that is the best way to level up, and clearly it was, because this was extremely slow compared to our previous adventures into nexus points. We were looking into all of the points of interest on the map. We found this little mini boss, took it out, but it didn't give us any loot. We continued eastward into the map, again stopping at various nexus points, but we couldn't find any adventurers who were willing to join up with us. We had given up hope after nearly an hour and a half of wandering around the wilderness. My companion and I were fighting just some basic mobs when this random archer found us, and collectively we decided we should go south to find some tougher mobs so that we can gain some real experience. We managed to make our way to another cave full of dwarves, where a high-level cleric was just minding his own business. He accepted our invitation to go into the cave with us. He was definitely the MVP of the party. He kept our tank alive. We managed to get a new skill point in our combo for our weapon, which is a huge boost. My spear now gives me some mana when it procs on my basic attack. We also fought a named mob in this cave, and Scabby managed to finally find a piece of gear. We found him a shield. After 45 minutes of grinding here, we hit level 9, and our party disbanded. We met back up again, hoping to make our way to level 10 today. It honestly doesn't take terribly long to level up, as long as you have a decent party and you're able to grind stuff that's your level or even a little bit higher. And that was our plan. We went from point A to point B looking for people to party up with, but we couldn't find anybody. As a duo without heals and with just the basic starter trash gear, we could pretty much only handle mobs our level that weren't elite, and they didn't give much experience. As we were traveling around the map, we found just a low level. He ground with us a little bit, but the experience just wasn't there. So we ended up ditching that spot, and since we couldn't find anyone, we just figured that this zone didn't have as much people, which seemed to be the case. In chat, everyone was mentioning various zones that were not anvils, which was our area. So we gave up on our area. We were going to go as far south as we could. We stumbled upon an adventurer who was in need of assistance, so we saved him, and he ended up joining our party and our quest to head further south to the next settlement. We didn't last very long though. We were on the road for about 15 minutes when a giant took out our tank, and then eventually something else also took me out. Can you guess what it was? I'll give you a second. You don't need a second, because it's obviously a hawk. The hawks are insane in this game. I don't understand. They're just like patrolling the whole world. Just a world of hawks. We respawned back at our starting settlement, which definitely grew since we were last here. There were walls being set up, and the town just looked better overall. But that's kind of it. I gave up at this point. We spent several hours today just running around trying to find people to party with. The world is huge and kind of empty, except for hawks and these raiders running around. I'm okay with grinding. The grind didn't seem terrible for combat. We easily leveled from 8 to 9 in just 45 minutes, and it went by fast. I do enjoy the combat and the leveling grind, but I don't enjoy the crafting in this game. The UI I don't think is good. The gathering system is terrible for nodes. For example, I was trying to just build a weapon and I was going for a particular metal, but every time you break a node, there's a chance you get a variety of different rarities of materials, so your inventory fills up super fast and it's just tedious. Outside of that though, we barely found any loot. The loot that we found was worse than our starter gear. I don't understand how that's possible. I think you really need to get into crafting if you're gonna play this, or you need to know exactly what you're doing. It seems like a good chunk of the player base is super familiar with how the game works, and they use a bunch of acronyms in chat, and they leveled up way faster than us. So if you're gonna go in blindly, it's kind of hard. You might need to have a guild that you're really close to, or a group of friends that you're going to be playing with. But being forced into crafting and not finding any loot, as well as not finding a party, is really what kind of ended it for me. But I'm sure some of you enjoy this and are way ahead of me. Let us know in the comments. I may not enjoy it, but plenty of people still do. Leave me a like if you can. This video took me a while, even though I made like no progress. It was a lot of hours. And subscribe for indie MMORPG content. It's all we cover on this channel. Check out our other videos. We have a bunch of weird developing indie MMOs that you may not have seen before. We also have a Discord server, over 1,000 on there, indie MMORPG themed. Thank you, Scabby, for joining me on this adventure. I would definitely not have made it without someone to back me up. We also stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Twitch, YouTube. If you want to hang out or game with us, I just stream random indie MMORPGs in development. But that's all from me. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully this video came out good. I kind of made it different where I was narrating for the most part. But until next time, I will see you in game.